All right, it's time to plan out another off season, go through how we are going to try to win our 5th World Series in 6 years. I am, of course, here drinking Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. It might be November 4th, but, we're still celebrating our 4th World Series win in 5 seasons. So to start with this video, we're going to go over who's coming, who's going, who's re-signed, who's not. So let's first walk through this. So salary arbitration, I don't have anybody arbitration eligible. I signed some deals. So Kyle Mott, I signed him for 1 year, $1.8 million. One thing that I would recommend you do is say, like, when this clicks into when free agency begins, right, on November 23rd, and Drew Gray will then be arbitration eligible for the following season. If you think that player's going to have a really good year, lock him up for that price then. Let me show you. Like Mike Anthony Valdez, I did that last offseason when he was coming off a bad year, but I still believed in him. And I signed him to a $1.1 million deal. Look at what he's going to make in the years after that, 6'3", 8'6", 11'5". If I hadn't signed him there, I'm probably paying him $4 million at least this year. I did the same thing with Carter Daniels. I signed him at 1.3, and now he's at 5.5 and 7 for the last 2 years of arbitration. So one thing to think about is signing guys when they're arbitration eligible the following offseason. Do it really early if you believe in them. So Kyle Mott was one guy I didn't sign in advance. I just signed him to a $1.8 million extension for 1 year to avoid arbitration. And Jacob Maton was going to be entering arbitration. He's going to have 2 years left. I believe the estimated values was $13 million next year and then $21 million the following year, and then he's going to be a free agent. We signed him to a 4-year deal for $69 million, which was not intentional, but nice. And he's going to make 15, 18, 18, and then he has an $18 million team option that has a $4 million buyout. So Maton is here. He just turned 30. So he's going to be here for his 30 through 33 aged seasons. And, he's been one of the best pitchers in the league the last 3 years, so we'll gladly take on that money. I think that's a bargain. I think the reason he did it is because he was expecting a 1 year deal or between 13 to 15 million, and I said, no, here, dude, have 69 nice $1 million, and he took it. One deal that I only did because I'm the Phillies and I have a massive budget is I signed a reliever to a 5-year, $75 million deal, Blake Binderup. So he was entering, he was going to have 3 years of arbitration left, his second, third, and fourth years of arbitration. And I can't remember exactly what the salaries were, but I know it ended with $21 million. I think it was like 8, 15, 21 or something like that. So got these years for cheaper, and he's only 25, so then I got a free agent year for 15-1. And then a team option for 19-1. I would never pay relievers this much if I wasn't running a team with a massive budget. If I'm running anything below like a top 3 to 5 budget, I'm not paying this for a reliever. But he's been the best reliever in the league the last 2 years. He's won reliever of the year in 27 and 28. He's made the All-Star team each year in 28 and 29. He just gets it done. So let's go. And I signed Drew Romo already earlier. I think we talked about that in a different video. So those are the guys that I settled with to avoid arbitration. But I have some free agents. Duvall does not want to return, which is a shame because he's a solid bullpen arm for me. He doesn't get along with Girardi, apparently. Mason Fox, I don't think is a righty I'm going to bring back. I have enough righty bullpen arms and options, and he's going to be 33 in like 2 months, and he wants 3 years, $21 million. Good reliever, borderline dominant at times. He's coming off a fine year, but not a great year, and I just don't see the need to re-sign him. Taylor Hearn, because he's a lefty and because he's still pitching like a beast, I don't know. I might bring him back, but I'm going to let him go to free agency because I think his asking price will come down, especially with older players. That's often the case. I'm not going to pay him that much, but we'll see. I could see him coming back on a shorter deal for less money. And then the big one is Cornelius Randolph. Cornelius Randolph, 32, will be 33 in June. And he doesn't want an insane amount of money for how well he's played. He wants 4 years, $92 million. That's reasonable. Look at how many home runs this guy hits. Look at his WRC+. He's one of the better hitters in the league. Oh, I'm on I'm on right. Okay, wait. That was just what he does against righties. Look at how many freaking home runs he hits. And, you know, a 148 WRC plus, 132, a career 131 WRC plus across 4,500 plate appearances. He's just really, really good. I mean, you know, he's not the kind of guy I like to let go. I like, you know, he came up with me. He's been a cornerstone player for me. He is second all time in Phillies slugging percentage. He is home runs. He's fourth all time, right behind Harper. He in 2,000 fewer plate appearances. I mean, Manny's the only one that's coming close to him in terms of home runs per plate appearances. But, you know, Randolph is going to play longer than Harper. I would assume he would pass him. If he played 4 years here, he'd easily pass Howard, I would think. And he wouldn't pass Schmidt. But the guy's a legend. He's a Philly legend. But I don't think we're going to bring him back. You know, that was all the free agents there. So I'll show you why. You know, I think, and this is kind of a mess just because I'm kind of going to walk you guys through it and I haven't set everything up yet. So Culbertson is going to move from our DH to first base. You know, he was, what, the fourth best hitter in the league according to OPS Plus last year, I think. So he's ready to move into that. He's making the league minimum. He's 26. He's kind of the Randolph replacement. So then that leaves DH open. We've got Ed Milam here, who was decent for us in 237 plate appearances, but I think what we're going to have to do is call up the crown jewel of the farm system, Danny San Miguel. Like, I can't keep this guy down anymore. I think he's our starting DH coming in next year. He's a lefty bat, but he doesn't really have bad platoon splits in the minors. My scout still thinks he's really good against lefties, but not as dominant against righties. So he's going to be my DH next year. Like, I've got him penciled in as that. Let's go down the rest of these guys. Romo is obviously back. Sanchez will be back as his backup. Culbertson, we talked about, he's in. Ford, great rookie season, 4.5 WAR. He'll be back. Manuel will be back. Hopefully play more games. Not be hurt. Willie Adames did pick up his player option. He's going to make $24 million. He has no trade 10-5 right status. That is 10 years of Major League service, 5 consecutive years with the same team. He's not willing to move his no trade, so he's going to be back. You know, he's not the player he was, but I think he still has value. I think he can still contribute to my team. Would I trade him if he was willing to go? Yeah. But I don't think it makes sense to DFA and waive him because then nobody's going to take him for his current salary at 34. Nobody's going to pay him $22 million. And I knew that when I signed this deal, that the last year was going to suck if he picked up the option. So, you know, I'm not going to DFA and waive him and then let him go for nothing when it wouldn't give me salary relief. And he's still a guy who can contribute to my team. Okay. You know, if I went out and signed this guy as like my backup utility infielder for like $2 to $4 million as a captain too, it would be a great deal. Obviously it's not that deal, but that value that he would bring at $2 million is the value. Instead, he's going to bring at $22 million, and we're not up against, or $24 million. We're not up against it salary wise. So he's just going to be here. That, you know, I wish I could open up that spot for Pantoja, but it's just not going to happen. Soto will be the left fielder. Pache will be in center field. Pache is entering the last year of his deal, making $18 million. His bat hasn't been quite as good the last 4 seasons, but he's still a Gold Glove center fielder. He's been getting hurt a bit, and he is fragile. He's 30. It's the last year of his deal. He'll be around, hopefully playing Gold Glove defense for us again. Harper will play in right field, and like we said, San Miguel at DH. Now, who does that leave as backup? So Pantoja will be a backup infielder. Milam kind of faded down the stretch, and I think our backup outfielder is probably, more than likely, going to be Ethan Doss, who put up a 186 WRC plus in AAA. Now, he really struggled in 84 plate appearances in Philly, but I want to give him that chance. I mean, look at this guy. 6th-round pick from 2025. He can play the corners, and I think it's just time to give him an extended run. So then we still haven't talked about Mike Anthony Valdez, who would be our 4th bench bat with Pantoja, Doss, and Sanchez. And Valdez was great last year. He put up 4.9 WAR in 134 starts, a 142 WRC plus. So I'm going to be looking to get him in the lineup like 5 to 6 days a week. So he'll probably play 1 day a week at first, 1 day a week at second, a day a week at third. maybe a day a week at DH, and then against lefties, he'll play even more often because he's a righty, and I've got guys like Culbertson's a lefty, Harper's a lefty, Sam Miguel is a lefty, so he'll play even more against lefties. So, I think he'll probably play 4-ish days a week against righties and probably 6 or 7 days a week against lefties. So I think he'll still end up playing, if everything goes according to plan, which it won't. Guys will get hurt. He might get hurt. He might jump in for somebody who's hurt. But if assuming the team just stayed healthy all year, I think you'd be projected and in line for anywhere from 120 to 130 games, which I think is good. So that leaves Milam in AAA and Antonio Anderson, who was solid for us in 48 games in AAA as well. That's just what happens when you're a good team with a lot of depth. You have guys like this in the minors who deserve to be in the majors, but are your depth in case you get hurt. Pitching, I think this will be our rotation. Rogers, Maton, Daniels, Nola, Karsten. Binder up, and then Shearing and Mott will be the back end of our bullpen. Drew Gray will also be kind of a setup guy. And take a sip of this beer. I don't know if it sounds like I've been talking a while. Maybe it does. It's because I recorded this entire video. Not the entire video. The first part of this video. It was like 30 minutes long. And then I recognized it wasn't recording. So that was fun. So my throat's all dry. Didn't bring down water. I just got this beer. So Gray, Bourne. Diaz is out of option and he hasn't impressed me. I think I'm going to trade him. I've got several guys like this who are out of option years. They deserve a bigger chance on a different team who isn't as stacked as us. And so I think I'll go out and trade for either prospects who aren't yet on the 40-man, or if they're on the 40-man, guys who have multiple option years so they can be minor league depth for me. So I think this spot will open up. Josh Ward will be here. So that's 6 guys if we don't count Diaz. I think maybe I'll bring back Taylor Hearn for 1, and then, I don't know, maybe sign somebody, maybe let a bunch of young guys battle it out for the last spot. I don't have a ton of pitching depth in the minors, but I've got some coming. I can show you real quick. Jackson Jean is not a guy I'm going to use, even though he's established himself as a really good pitcher. I think I'm probably going to try to trade him. Extreme fly ball, 35 movement. Even with these elite pitches, I don't trust him in Citizen Bank. This goes to show you, man, late rounds, 22nd round, draft guys with work ethic or intelligence. They might develop. Melendez was our first-round pick from last year, 2028. He didn't fare well in half a season of AAA, but he'll be in the mix for some playing time next year at the majors. So will Joe Eaton. Reinhardt hopefully will agree to come back. So I've got some guys here who can Melendez is another guy who can fill in. I've got a bunch of guys who can kind of fill in as I need innings. But, yeah, I think I might bring back Taylor Hearn or somebody else to fill in the 7th and 8th bullpen roles. So I do have some other guys on my 40-man that are just out of options and I think deserve a chance somewhere else. Enrique Bradfield, my first-round pick from 2023, he's kind of declined since he peaked in AAA in 2027. He put up a 159 WRC plus and 2.4 WAR across 46 games. And he never got a shot, and he's probably just pissed. He's just not as good anymore. So a guy like that will probably try to trade away. Oops, wrong one. And Jadon Richardson will be a guy who, I think we I don't know why it's saying he's Rule 5. He was not Rule 5 this year. Anyways, I think he will be the guy in AAA who is our backup center fielder. Oops, sorry, wrong guy. Who is our backup center fielder? Something that happens to Pache. Ford will back up Pache, like to give him the 1 or 2 days off a month. But if we have an injury and needed a long-term center fielder, Richardson will come up. Furman is another guy that's out of option years who has hit well in AAA, and I think I'll probably just try to trade for a younger guy. Shinoda will be around. He's got a 70 range. He's got option years left. He'll be around. Jackson McKenzie, 6th-round pick from 2023, a guy who just hits well every year in AAA, basically, except for one. And he deserves a shot somewhere else. We'll try to trade him. So, yeah, that's kind of where the team stands. I think Milam and Anderson will be my 2 main on-call guys in AAA, and then we'll rock that bench of Pantoja, Valdez, even though he'll play a lot, and Dawson, then Sam Miguel at DH. And I don't think much will change with the pitching staff. Hopefully Aaron Nola can bounce back and have a decent season. we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to jump ahead here, but I think the main things will be trying to trade some of the guys out of option years for guys who have option years. And then, I don't know, seeing if Adames decides he wants to trade. Nah, he's not going to. So I think that'll be the main thing, and then just figuring out the last two guys in the bullpen. Not a lot will change here for the champs. I think we've got a really good team coming back. Okay, so it's now the end of the winter meetings. I wanted to, one, review award season, one season, and also Miles commented on a video. It's been a few weeks now in video time because I recorded a little ahead, but just a day or two ago he asked me to review some of the old trades, and I've already recorded a bunch of videos ahead, so it's been I think 2 seasons and out of the park time since he asked me, so I'm gonna get into that too. So Gold Glove Awards, Charlie Neuweiler of the Royals, who is apparently a real dude. 5th round pick 2017 of the Royals. Okay, fair enough, Charlie. Anthony Siegler of the Mariners. He's a real guy. Where's he? Is he like, yeah, Yankees, 1st round pick 2018. Okay, I think he's still a prospect of theirs. I know his name. Matt Olson, 35 years old, bringing home the Gold Glove. Luis Urias, he won it with the Tigers, but he signed in the offseason with the Portland Pickles. Big free agent off signing for the Pickles. Bobby Witt Jr. bringing home another Gold Glove. Willie Castro, Evan Carter, he's a real-life Rangers prospect. He's really young. I think he's like 19. I added him in a Dynasty Fantasy Baseball League of mine this year. Manny Margot with the A's. He's won a bunch in a row. He's a free agent. You can sign him for $1.8 million. He's won 3 in a row and 4 total in the sim. But he won a Gold Glove, and he was still below replacement level because he put up a 57 WRC plus. Good Lord, his bat's been bad. He's 35, man. I don't know. That bat's real bad. Julio Rodriguez brings home another Gold Glove for the Red Sox. 2 straight for him. It's interesting. At the age of 27 and 28, he's won his first 2. He's put up a nice 6.9 and then 6.6 WAR in Boston. I'd say that deal is working out okay for them so far. NL, Thomas White, that's a player of mine. I traded him to them. Yeah, that was a trade. What trade was he in again? He was in the trade where I got Nasim Nunez and Kyle Mott, who Mott made the All-Star team for me as a reliever this year. So he hasn't really done much. He had a 6.85 ERA for them this year, and last year he only pitched 41 innings for him. He's in the rotation this year. He won a Gold Glove for some reason. Cool, good for him. Drew Romo of the Phillies bringing it home. Brooks Baldwin, a Pirates first baseman. Errol Vera bringing it home for the Nats. He is a real-life Angels prospect, it appears. German Concepcion, no relation to Julio Concepcion, 26 years old. In this sim, he was signed as a minor league free agent by the Tigers in 2021. And now he's a 3-time Gold Glover. Francisco Lindor, age 36, winning another Gold Glove. He won 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23. So the only year he hasn't won it in the sim, the NL Gold Glove, is 2022. He's won it every other year. He's below, look how bad his bat is. An 88 WR, it's not bad, but 88 WRC plus, and he's still put up 4.5 WAR at 36. That's remarkable. That's remarkable. So, and what's going on with his contract? He's got 1 year left. He's got 2 years left. He's got the 2030 and the 2031. All right, fair enough. Brian Reynolds, former friend of the Phillies. He won a Gold Glove. He played in Milwaukee. He only put up an 80 WRC plus, but apparently played good defense. Parker Meadows beats out Pache. Totally snubbed. Let's see, what did he do last year to earn this Gold Glove? Let's go to just his major league stats. So he played with the Diamondbacks, 459 plate appearances, put up a menacing 49 WRC plus. Fielding, he put up a 14 zone rating in 120 games and a 1077 efficiency. So what did Pache put up? Do I have my Rule 5 filter on? I do. All right. Pache played in 140 games and put up a 16 zone rating at 1064. So, yeah, I'm calling it a snub. I'm calling it a snub on Pache. And then Sammy Cianai of the Pirates also bringing home a Gold Glove, who can also hit well. Let's see. Reliever of the year, Jasiel De La Cruz of the Yankees. Hader is on there. Liam Norris, Gregory Soto. NL reliever of the year, former Philly Pete Fairbanks went and signed with the rival Dodgers. Got every first place vote. I don't know, he was good, but why do you? I don't know. Well, 2.9 RWAR is pretty good at 2.33 ERA. Second place was Andy Shearing, who we traded for. Kumar Rocker in the house. Taylor Hearn got a second place vote. Some other guys, Edwin Diaz still around. Silver Sluggers, we've got Adley Rutschman. We've got this guy for the Rays, Jack Caglianon, who looks like a machine. He drove in 123 runs in 121 games. Good Lord. 156 WRC plus. Yeah, that'll do it. Chris Noss, we'll call it. Let's call him Chris Noss. First round pick for the Twins. He got the second base Silver Slugger. Jose Ramirez still doing his thing at age 37, putting up a 126 WRC plus for the Guardians. Wander Franco, Steve Van der Hulst, and then Elijah Green, Julio Rodriguez, Frank Valadares. So how did I thought the Orioles had Elijah Green. Oh, they did. They traded him to the Twins for a couple guys. Gotcha. Cool. All right. NL Silver Sluggers. We got Randolph at first base. Keibert Ruiz, Diamondbacks. Got Robert Moore of the Rockies. Luis Garcia, the Nats, who we know from the playoffs. Tatis. Colton Cowser, real-life Orioles prospect with the Padres. Our guy Ken Gieske bringing it home for the Pirates. No surprise, Humberto Camacho in right field. And then Nate Culbertson at the DH for the Phillies. Estevan Machado got every first-place vote for AL Rookie of the Year, put up 4.2 WAR. NL Rookie of the Year, Caleb Ford, just beating out Luke why can't I say that name? Napolitano? Thank you. Napolitano. It's not even that obscure of a name, and it would not come to me. So Ford put up 4.5 WAR and 120 WRC+. Manager of the Year, we got Matt Williams and Joe Girardi. AL Cy Young, the Orioles' Victor Cervantes won it. Thatcher Hurd, our boy, coming in second place. Jeff Coyne beating out Trevor Rogers for NL Cy Young. That's disappointing. I think I'm Team Rogers here. Really, it came down to innings pitched. Coyne accumulated more counting stats because he pitched like 40 more innings because I kind of manage my guys' innings. But third place in the Cy Young was our long man, Josh Ward, who put up 2.4 WAR and 4.4 RWAR in 129 innings with a 1.81 ERA and a 3.26 FIP. I mean, I kind of want to put him in the rotation next year, but I also kind of just want to leave him in this role because he was awesome. So we'll see what happens. Any other Phillies? Kyle Mott out of our bullpen got some votes. Jacob Maton got some votes as well. So that's the NL Cy Young. Freeman. Was that Freddie Freeman was injured in a charity softball game? How long is he hurt for? Oh, okay. It wasn't a bad injury. Thank goodness. Oh, he just sprained his ankle. He was out for a month, but it was in the offseason. Most valuable player, Steve Vanderhulst, 25-year-old. Put up 5.5 WAR, 47 bombs, a 151 WRC+. Plus. This was their second-round pick in 2025. Good for him. Good for Steve. He played last year and wasn't nearly as good for him, but he adjusted, and here he is. And then Julio Rodriguez, Wander Franco, Willie Castro, Khalil Watson round out the top five. NL, Hector Camacho, who we know from the postseason, got it for the Nats. Ken Gieske, our guy. Then Luis Garcia, who we also know. Nate Culbertson of the Phils. And then Bellinger and Tatis round out the top six. Bellinger still living well at age 34. Hit 34 home runs, 6.2 WAR. How many career home runs does he have? 439. And he's 34. Yeah, I don't think he's going to make a run at Barry Bonds. I think we had a few other guys get MVP votes for me. Cornelius Randolph finished pretty up. Mike Anthony Valdez pretty high up there. Trevor Rogers, Caleb Ford, Josh Ward, our long man, got some votes. I love that. So that's kind of that. We'll get to some of the offseason stuff, but so Miles asked me to show what some of the guys have become that I've traded away. He mentioned specifically the Manny trade and the Barrios trade. So the Manny trade, we traded him to the Padres, and we got Mason Fox back, who's been a steadying force in our bullpen for many years. We traded away Christian Hernandez, was the top guy we traded away, and he's turned into a really good starter for them. You can see he's almost 4. He was almost 5 or one season. I mean, he's made the All-Star game twice. I mean, he's a solid, he's an excellent number 2 starter, decent number 1 starter. That it's worked out well for them just with that guy. Let's see, what else did they get? Josh Alger. He never reached the majors. Let's see. Ostadillo doesn't look like he ever reached the majors. No. Daniel Brito. Taking a sip of my coffee here. So he never reached the majors either. AAA. He was an okay AAA player for them. And Izzy Wilson was a good power hitting outfielder, I think. Oh, he's still with them. Has he played in the majors at all? He's never reached the majors. Wow. So he's played in AAA, and he's had 2 decent seasons at age... I mean, he was in AAA at age 26, and he's just kind of stalled out there. And he's been fine. At AAA, he's below league average with WRC+. I guess that's not going to get you too much playing time. But that's because of 2 really bad seasons. He had 4 solid seasons there, and he just keeps re-signing, I guess. So they got a number 1 starter out of it and not much else. Jose Barrios, who, of course, is no longer with us. He's with the Rockies. I don't remember what I traded for him. Okay, so I traded Dominic Pipkin, who looks like he made it to the majors. Here, let's go ahead and do this. He made it to the majors and pitched 27 innings at age 23 and 24 for the Twins, and never really panned out. I think he was the best prospect, wasn't he? Kalen Kilgore, did he ever make it to the majors? Yeah, he pitched some innings for them. Okay, so he pitched out of their bullpen for a number of years. He pitched 306 innings, 2.7 WAR, never really made the leap to being a starter. And then the last guy was Lionel Aponte, we'll call him. Wow, he never made the majors? I feel like he was a pretty decent prospect. Wow, he never made it out of high A. Now he pitched in double A at age 28, but he went to independent ball. Yeah, this guy was 21 and in rookie ball for me, and he's putting up 2.6 WAR in 14 starts with a 2.47 ERA, 2.36 FIP. He looked like a pitching prospect who was taking a big step forward, and I guess he just never panned out, which is a bummer for them. So that was the Barrios trade. Let's go ahead and look at I lost it. Who did I want to look at? I wanted to look at Pache. As I remember, I gave up a good bit for him. Yeah, so Brian Reynolds went and played many seasons for Atlanta. He played 608 games. He put up 11.2 WAR, a 103 WRC+, so he was decent for them. Let's see. They got Adam Hazley, who in Atlanta, he ended up playing, not that badly, just not that many games. 102 games with a 110 WRC+, 2.3 WAR. So he just didn't play enough to accumulate a lot of stats. So, they traded him to Tampa Bay. It looks like he was in their breakout season. They dealt him to Tampa Bay, and then he's just kind of bounced around. Then they got Durbin Feltman, who's now in San Diego. So he pitched for them for a while. He pitched for Atlanta 230 games, 253 innings, and was good. 3.95 ERA, 3.85 FIP. So he was a good stabling force in the bullpen, it looks like. And then Sir Anthony Dominguez, I think they only had for 1 season. Yeah, he had 1 okay season for them, and then he left via free agency. And then San Diego picks up all our old players eventually, apparently. So that was that deal. The Soto deal, which was 5 years ago now. So we traded Alec Boehm, who really just kind of scuffled his first years. Well, he broke out his first year there, and then he scuffled for 2 years, and then he had 2 great years. He won NL MVP in 2028. Now he signed a big contract with the Padres, and he's been fine for them, but not MVP level. We also dealt Logan Davidson, who is still with the Nats. He's played in 517 games for him, 5.2 WAR, 106 WRC plus. He's been a solid player for them staying there. Yolqui Cespedes, wow, he's still there too. He's had 507 games and 2,000 plate appearances, 5 WAR, just a 96 WRC plus. But so neither of those guys have really broken out. Up by the back button, man, the back button. I cannot and will not get used to it. It just escapes me. Then they got K. Paju worked out really well for them. He's a free agent now, but he was one of the best relievers in baseball for several seasons for them. You can see he put up 8.7 WAR over 334 innings, a 3.23 ERA, 11.9 strikeouts per 9. I mean, they got back some very useful pieces. And then Connor Pavolny, looks like he never made it to the majors for them, the catcher. So that was that. And then we got the Adames trade, which I made back in 2021. So we got Carlos Garcia, who I don't think ever pitched for us, and Kiermaier, who played center for us for a few seasons and was really important piece for us. So we traded Matt Vierling, who is a center fielder, who eventually made it to the majors for Honolulu. And he had 681 plate appearances and put up a 75 WRC plus. Looks like, he reached AAA for them and was a good hitter in AA and AAA, but never got a chance. Logan O'Hoppe never reached the majors. Andrew Brown, he pitched a little bit in the majors for the A's. He never made the majors for the Rays. Enyel De Los Santos is now with the Pickles. Let's see what his major league time is. Okay, so he didn't really do much for the Rays. He's bounced around as kind of like a relief arm. And then David Parkinson, who was a pretty decent pitching prospect. Major leagues, he never made it for the Rays. So the Rays don't win every trade. They're not always the smartest team in the room. None of those guys made the majors, and I've had Adames for all that time. Worked out about as well as... the Adames trade looks really good for the Brewers. I'm actually not even sure what the relievers in real life that the Rays got have done, but that trade's worked out great for us. So, I don't know. Yeah, I think those are kind of a lot of the major trades I made. I'm sure there are others, but all right. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go a little further ahead here in the off season and then just kind of recap you guys. I will show, so Cornelius Randolph by the way did leave. He went to Chicago. He signed a 5-year, $19 million deal. The 5th year is a vesting option requiring 550 plate appearances. I can go ahead and show you what's happened in the offseason around the league so far. A few of the bigger deals. So Randolph, the 5-year deal. Jung-Hoo Lee signed a 5-year, $81 million deal with the Yankees. So he is, those are KBO, most valuable players. He's off to the Yankees at age 31 after performing really well in San Antonio after we traded him there in the Trevor Rogers deal, which we knew was going to happen. I just had the depth to do that. Joey Bart, a 5-year, $80 million deal in Atlanta. Luis Urias, a 5-year, $72 million deal in Portland. Taron Vavra, who's turned into a decent prospect or decent player for the Orioles. He has a career 103 WRC plus, so a little above average. He signed a deal with the Yankees. It's 5 years, 78. Alex Verdugo to the Cardinals, 4 years, $44 million. Tyler McGill to the Cardinals, 4 years, $39 million. That might be it in terms of the big. Yeah, that's it in terms of the bigger money deals. We still got Bregman out here, Yelich, Nick Gonzalez, Kyle Tucker, Jonathan India, Kirilloff, Taylor Hearn might be back with us. Who knows? So I will. Like I was saying earlier in the video, not a lot's going to change this offseason unless something comes up. I did make some of those trades. I'll recap all that shortly. I'm just going to skip ahead a little further. Okay, so we are now at the penultimate opening day of our Phillies Out of the Park 22 sim. The Phillies are predicted to win the National League again, 104 wins. 785 runs is not the dominant offense that we've been, but it's decent. Then 619 again, a 3.47 against. 3.47 ERA is this is interesting. So 619 to 614. The Giants are predicted to give up fewer runs, but have a higher ERA. Okay. I guess we're playing a lot of extra innings this year. Are those the only two? No, there are a couple other teams under 600. But yeah, not many teams are under 4. Maybe like 4 or 5 teams are. So our pitching's projected to be pretty good. Hitting rise. Culbertson is the only guy over here. He's predicted to have a 412 on base. Nice. Trevor Rogers and Jacob Maton on the pitching side of things. The other playoff teams predicted to be the Pirates, 13 games back of us. The Giants and the Brewers, the Dodgers and the Cardinals and the Padres and the Mets and the Braves all predicted to be in the mix too. That'll be something if the Dodgers and the Padres were both out of the postseason. I don't think they both missed the postseason yet in this sim. And then Rays, Yankees, Orioles, and White Sox, a AL East party here at the top of the American League. Your Portland Pickles, 71 wins predicted. The Pacific, 74. So let's get to the team. We have 3 injuries coming right into the season. Aaron Nola is out for 2 to 3 more weeks with a strained back. Mike Anthony Valdez was going to be due back the last week of spring training, but then had a setback. Now he's unknown due to elbow inflammation. That's a bummer because he was going to play a big part of this team. And Kristen Pache, our fragile center fielder, out for 2 weeks with a strained oblique. So that opens up some opportunities for 3 guys to make the team that weren't going to. On the hitting side of things, Antonio Anderson is on the team. He was not going to be. My scout kind of thinks he declined a bit over the offseason, but he put up a solid 105 WRC plus for us last year. He'll get some playing time. But so we've got the Romo, Culbertson, Ford, Machado, Adame, Soto, Jadon Richardson made the team because of the Pache injury. He has never had a regular season at bat in the majors. He did come up in the postseason last year. He was in AAA last year and put up 112 WRC plus in 131 games. He can play anywhere in the outfield. He's decent. He could be decent in the infield, I think, but I just didn't take the he doesn't have turnover play, so he can kind of play a third base with that 60 arm. And then Bryce Harper, and then the golden boy prospect, Danny San Miguel, the number 7 prospect in baseball, 23 years old, making his debut after a minor league career of 1,600 plate appearances in which he put up a 131 WRC plus. Of course, that had, his age 18 season, he wasn't great, and then his jump to A-ball, he wasn't amazing, and his jump to high A wasn't amazing. But you can see what he did over the last 2 seasons between AA and AAA. He just decimated the ball. So looking forward to him getting a lot of playing time. Pantoja will get a decent amount of playing time. Doss is on the team. Antonio Anderson and Ali Sanchez, the backup catcher. Against lefties, since Richardson's a lefty, Ford will shift out to center field, where he can kind of fake it for us, and Anderson will start at second base. So once Valdez is back, I think he's basically going to play once a week at like first, second, third, left, and DH. Like he'll probably play 5 to 6 days per week. So he'll basically be a starter without a starting position. Pitching side of things, we've got Rogers, Maton, Daniels, and then Will Karsten rolls into the 4th spot. Josh Ward will take over the 5th spot with Nola out. He, of course, was our long man last year that ended up getting MVP and Cy Young votes in his 129 innings. Blake Binderup is back. Andy Shearing is here. Kyle Mott, Drew Gray. We brought back Taylor Hearn. 2 years, $20 million deal because we're the Phillies and we can afford it. He's 35, a bit of a high-risk deal at that age to give out 2 years since he's going to be 36 in August. But again, we're the Phillies. We can afford it. He's still one of the better lefties in the game. Jason Diaz is here. He's out of options. I mean, he's honestly been kind of mediocre as a major league player for us, but so the leash will be short with him, I think. I didn't trade him, though, even though he's out of options. Andy Bourne is here, and then Joe Eaton, who he got from Arizona back in 2025. He'll be the long man for now. He's been very good the last 2 seasons between AA and AAA. Barely pitched for us last year, 2 2/3 innings. So let me go ahead and just show you the rest of the 40-man in terms of who's going to, probably make a difference this year for us. Juan Melendez, his stuff has dropped. He's a guy we got from the Angels last year in when we traded Carraway. Because we didn't need him anymore. We traded him for 2 minor league pitchers. So Melendez is just kind of minor league depth. Jalen Miller is a former top 100 prospect. Last year, he's the number 27 prospect in baseball. I'm not sure if he fell off or if he graduated at 25 or 26 and out of the park. I can't remember. But we got him from the Cubs in the offseason. You can see he had a rough 2029 after starting off well in high A, and then he went to double A, and then he was up in the majors and got hit around fairly hard. But we traded Jackson Jean for him. Jackson Jean is not a top 100 prospect, but has been a top 200 prospect pretty regularly. You can see he's got a all-world curveball, one of the best changeups in the game. But the reason I dealt him, even though he put up 2.9 WAR in AAA for me last year, is the low movement and the extreme fly ball. That's just not going to play in Citizen Bank. And I had a lot of really good offers for him, but the offer of the top 100 prospect Miller I really like this guy. Extreme ground ball and that high movement. That was the best deal we got. He'll start off in AAA. I was thinking about starting him up as the long man, but I went with Eaton. And we also got this guy, Rod Zellner, who is just kind of minor league depth. He's 25. I don't expect much from him, but he was just kind of a throw-in. Vinny Sanchez, who we got from the Yankees a few years ago, he's on the 40-man, will be some AAA depth. Shinoda is still there as an infield depth. I think this guy's pretty good. I mean, the 70 range. He's a decent hitter. He's just on the best team in baseball that has a lot of depth, so he hasn't gotten much of a chance. Mike Winters, our fourth-round pick from 2025, who was good in Double-A last year, so he'll start the year in Triple-A, and he's on the 40-man. Victor Luna is a guy we got from San Francisco last year, just as added outfield depth with option years. He played a little bit for San Diego last year, but was primarily in AAA between us and San Diego, and was pretty good. And then we've got Ed Milam. Oh, I have 27 guys up. I guess I need to send Milam down. I don't know why it's letting me have 27 guys. I guess you can't play the first game. That's when it'll cut me off. So that's the 40-man. The minor league system is 5th. So let's go real quick. San Miguel at 7th. We've got Ethan Doss at 23rd. We've got Jesus Ramirez, international free agent signing from last year, 2029, is the 29th best prospect in baseball. I changed up the way I was doing the international free agency. Shout out to my patrons for giving some feedback and letting me know how it's worked for them. But so I made it the maximum amount of prospects available. So like 120 guys come in, and there's still the $5 million cap, but only like 2 guys went for the $5 million. And Ramirez was not even, according to OSA or MyScout, not even like a top 3 or 5 prospect. I think he was in the top 10. Has he like jumped up or something? I'm not, I knew he was really good when I got him, but I wasn't expecting him to come up and be the 29th best prospect. I mean, this guy's too young and his floor is too low to actually be rated the 29th best prospect in baseball at 17 years old. But he looks like a bright spot. Andy Bourne is the 75th best prospect in baseball. He's on the Phillies in the majors, of course. I made a smoothie and it's delicious. Daniel Esquivel. He was my second international free agent signing last year, number 89 prospect in baseball. Just 17. He'll be at the complex as well. Steve Childrey is the 99th best prospect in baseball. He was my first-round pick in 2026. He'll probably start in Double-A because he kind of struggled there at the end of last year. And then we've got a few other guys. Edwin Flores, international free agent signing from 2025. He'll start up. I don't know why he's listed as rookie ball. I haven't sorted out my minor leagues and my prospects. I think he'll probably start in High A. And then, the list goes on. Mike Isley dropped out of the top 200. He was in Low A for us last year after being our first row pick. He'll probably start in High A, I'm thinking. Probably High A. This control is concerning, but hopefully he can bring that along. I'll show you I made some minor league trades in the offseason, which were, I'd mentioned I was going to do, trade for guys who had option years for my guys who were out of option years. So I'll show you what I did. One of them was that Jackson Jean trade. He wasn't out of option years. I just realized he had really high trade value, and I didn't see a lot of value in him because of his issues with movement. So I traded Connor Furman, who was a really solid AAA outfielder with really good power, and I traded him to the Dodgers. I actually didn't realize I traded him to the Dodgers. Would have rather traded him to the American League. I don't think he's a star or anything. He's going to hit some home runs. But I got Ian Wilson, who's just a really good fielder. Now, he was the Dodgers' second-round pick in 2029. The bat is pretty suspect. He did put up a 115 WRC plus in 15 games in rookie ball last year. OSA is a little higher on his bat. If he can max this out, I don't know that he's like a future piece, and he's got the low work ethic. But basically, I like at least having guys who are solid with the glove in the minor league system, just to help with my pitching. So that's what I did with him. I think he's just a useful minor league player who will really have to hit on his ceiling to make it to the majors. Enrique Bradfield, of course, our first round pick from several years ago, is just out of options. Not a bad player, but he's in Cincinnati. We got this 23-year-old pitcher, Jeremy Sublet, who I think is a decent-looking prospect with that good of control. I think he's more like a fringe guy, right? Like a long man / AAA depth when you have injuries. So nothing spectacular, and he'll go above rookie. I don't know why he's in rookie ball right now. Again, I haven't said all that yet. Danny Solove is another guy who is just questionable with the bat, questionable with work ethic and intelligence, but just the glove at shortstop was too outstanding to pass up. So got some useful minor league players for some guys who were going to be in the minors for me, but were out of options, and I would have had to pass through waivers. So that was November. December, I traded Jackie McKenzie, who had been kind of a power-hitting first baseman for me in AAA for the last 3 seasons. I drafted him in the 6th round of 2023. He was out of options. And I got Palak Manyan. I don't know. Manyan? Who knows? I'm not sure. You guys can let me know on that one. He's played in high A each of the last years and put up really good numbers. No power in his bat, but a good on-base guy who isn't going to strike out very much. And he has all 3 option years left. So that's why I got him. I think that was basically it in terms of the trade. Oops, I'm in the wrong year. So that was December of 2029. Oh, I didn't have any transactions in February. That was it. So I just made those minor league trades. Nothing major. I brought back Taylor Hearn. As we talked about, Cornelius Randolph is in Chicago. And we are... so we are now at opening day. We are ready to do our second to last season. Here, the last 2 years of the Bryce deal, the last 2 years of the Manny deal, the last 2 years of the Nola deal. Soto could opt out after this year. That'll be a big storyline. We'll see what he does after the season. We'll see what we want to do with him after the season. So, let's go Phils, and let's bring home yet another World Series to Philadelphia. Talk to you guys next time. Thank you for watching.